We're live.
Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. I don't know if this came out right.
So far, we're still waiting on YouTube. Let me refresh.
Well, YouTube's working on mine.
Okay, I just
But we
refreshed.
we didn't come out on the 13 waiting. I guess because I set it up with Restream and then I found out the Restream wasn't working. So we need to tell everybody over on the other one to come over to the new one.
Okay. Let me find the URL. Let's go to the live. Yeah, we're live there. In fact, I need to mute myself. Well, I did something wrong.
Well, hopefully this will be the last time we have problems because I'm going to quit with Restream.
Oh, there's the informal information, right? Yeah, there it is. Okay, you got it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, I think everybody else in the chat is on the other stream.
Yeah.
There were 2 access points for YouTube tonight.
Okay.
So you have to get on the correct one.
Yeah, and I posted it over there too.
Okay, great.
Chris came over, I'm pretty certain. Is Michelle Marcoux over there? Can you tell?
Yeah, he just got here.
Okay, and Dan Angie?
Chris just got here.
Dan Angie and Aussie Man.
They're starting to come over.
Man, I wish we could message people directly on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about this just for a second because I've had it with Restream. As y'all start meandering over here, I pay for the service. I've had nothing but problems with it for months, and finally tonight was the straw that broke the camel's back. I went to log on and they said you need to pay your fee in order to use Restream. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I just looked the other day on my credit card and it dinged me for the fee for Restream.
Are you talking about Restream or StreamYard?
Restream, not StreamYard, Restream. And so Restream is the one that simultaneously broadcasts to Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube.
Okay,
and I had paid my bill, but Restream, when I tried to log in tonight, was saying I hadn't paid my bill. They took the payment out a week ago or so. This is what, the 13th? So it's been like 7 days or prior to this. So anyway, so that was it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm not using them anymore. So we won't be no longer on Twitch and we won't be no longer on Facebook. It'll all come straight through YouTube, and that'll eliminate my heartache and headache is trying to get this thing set up on a weekly basis to make it work. And on top of that, I'm going to pay for them and it's not even working. And they're going to double charge me. So, yeah. So we'll just do YouTube and YouTube only from now on. And I will make a phone call to my credit card company and tell them to balk the charges because it didn't work. And and that'll be it. So, and then we won't have this problem of having to flip flop back and try to find where I'm at. It'll just all be on YouTube in one channel. So I'm tired of it. I thought it was pretty cool because we get anywhere between 6, 7, 8 people on YouTube and 6 or 8 people on Twitch that watch us, and I get credit for that. But in the same aspect, with the headaches that I'm having, it's not worth it. And then I'm paying for a service that's constantly giving me a hassle. Yeah, I've had it with it. No more. So it'll all be here on. Now the problem being is it's hard as heck for me to see. I have to look over here to read everybody.
Bonsoir,
He said they have had 14 days of 100 plus temps.
Yeah.
In Citrus Heights, California. He's melting. It's 130 in his shop. Woo! Yeah, that's warm.
It is.
Yeah, that's warm. Michelle Marcoux out there. Bill, I believe, is out there. Did Bill make it over here?
Ça va, Michelle?
Yeah, Aussie man, he's over there. So JJE, thank y'all all for watching.
Oh, Jim.
Yeah, so just come back here every week now, and we're just going to be on here. You don't have to worry about finding anywhere else. I'm going to call Restream. I don't know that they're open tomorrow since it's Sunday, but I'll take care of everything Monday morning and just tell them I want a refund, and I see ya. Adios. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. But yeah, I've been working on my fence. I was going to try to get a couple of more pictures today of the way things was going up, or not today, but yesterday when we were putting up a few pieces. But I just didn't have time to do it. I've been so busy doing some other things also. But
did you get any rain yesterday?
Real well. The crane works great. My little dolly works great to move pieces around the fence around to the position. I have found a little bit easier way to do one part of it is rather than trying to stand the piece up and put the chain for the hoist, we've learned to just lay it down flat on the ground. Then I ain't got to stand up in the air with my hands over my head trying to screw the screws in. It's laying down on the ground, and I can get it all lined up better. So that's the only other thing. Other than that, Dixon, tell us where we can find you.
I'm Dixon Hoffman. You can find me at Hoffman Signs and Decals.
He's muted.
And also,
No, he's not.
and also at Facebook and YouTube.
I can't hear him. Can he hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
He says he can hear you.
Can anybody else hear Dixon?
Low, but yes.
All right, what's going on now that I can't hear?
Turn your hearing aid on.
Was this going to be one of those nights that every time I turn around something goes wrong?
Sometimes it happens.
It's the gremlins.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay,
Hey, go ahead and do it, Chris.
Chris,
Up again, Chris Hidfield, Cranky Workshop. Find me on YouTube and Facebook.
All right, let me try. I had to try this before. Let me try it again. Let me back out of here.
He'll be back.
Dixon?
Try to come back in.
What are you
because I
laughing at,
can't hear
Donald?
anybody.
Oh, Donald? Donald?
What's he laughing at?
Y'all tell Chris, go ahead, and then Russ just jumped right on in.
I can't hear you, Donald. What'd you say?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I said, told Chris, go ahead and jump on in there and do his stuff, and Russ just popped in the middle of me. He's like,
Did anybody understand him?
A little bit.
A little bit.
that redneck.
Un petit pois.
I'm looking up my redneck translation book.
Love you, Donald.
Sorry, been hanging out with the rednecks.
About ready to give up.
Can you hear us, Russ?
Well, Russ, we can hear you. It doesn't matter that you can't hear us, does it?
He probably doesn't want to.
That's my point. My point
Try a
is
different
made.
set of headset.
Probably his earbuds went bad.
Yeah, it died.
Yeah, they do
Yeah,
go back.
they used to. The charge on them used to go dead.
Yeah.
Or was it his mic? I think. Yeah, that is a long time, Michelle. It's been on and off various different things. Seriously, yeah. I had another truck, but it got stolen and wrecked.
I remember
so I'm
that.
going back to the one that I kept that was ancient because I'm a hoarder. I keep everything. Ask Paul.
Yes, you do.
We can see that you got so many projects.
Are we going to continue the introductions?
Oh, yeah. I'm Paul Corliss, Paul's Messy Workshop. Find me on YouTube and Instagram. It's your turn, Jim, and you're muted.
Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop, and back from vacation finally. I'm trying to catch up for not doing 2 weeks worth of stuff to the house. So cutting the liner out of the pool today. I got to fix a couple of holes in the wall. And, so like I told you guys before, if I go off the tracks, you know what happened.
It's all right, Jim.
I'll be back.
Okay, Al.
Yeah.
All right, Al Forte, Odessa Woodworking Maker Shop. No matter what you do it just for fun, guys. Really, really happy today. Like I said, I got my old piece of junk truck working. Hey, it's a piece of junk, but it's mine. Kilroy 79763. Just find me anywhere. Kilroy 79763.
Donna Embroidery Plus. You can find me on Facebook. That's about it right now. I still ain't done much with the rest.
Donna, did I jump in front of you?
It don't matter. Everything moved and then it went back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Donald.
Okay, I'm Donald Matthews from Donald Loxifies Wood Shop. Find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And my website is redneckknowhow.com.
He is Donald Vogelify.
Butterfly.
Redneck know-how, just translating.
Translating redneck to English.
Or something like that.
Can you hear us, Russ?
I got done eating and I ain't had my nap, okay?
I had to totally go out and come back in again for the second
Welcome back,
time,
Russ.
so. I don't know if it's
missed ya.
because of the restream problem or whatever, but yeah, I had to go out and come back in. So yeah, I can hear you now.
And yes, Paul, this is 7 pounds of weight loss.
And now it's starting to break up again.
Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you different earbud thingies?
I've tried it both ways. I've tried using the regular speakers off the computer. I've tried using my earbuds.
You got
And
Halfmans or
I've tried using
Well, you guys know the Earth's core is starting to spin in a different direction now.
Right.
yeah.
Make all the electrons pull away from your computer.
Yeah, and I even tried a plug-in headset, and it's giving me problems. So it's just bound and determined that y'all don't want to hear me or talk to me tonight.
We do hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
You don't hear us.
Yeah.
We don't need
Well,
we don't need to be heard.
Yeah, I just gonna say, yeah, I don't need to hear all the nasty things you say about me anyway. So anyway, but I mean, I really don't have anything tonight as far as I was saying earlier. If y'all could hear me, the fence has been going good. We're getting a lot more progress going on with that. I was going to try to take some more pictures of the crane, especially because my neighbor come over and seen my crane, And he was like, where in the world did you get that? And I said, and he said, do what? I said, I built it and designed it. And he goes, no way. And I said, yeah. He goes, that is pretty cool. He says, I mean, because you just like make a few turns and it lifts it right up in the air. And so I said, yeah, I usually think about things and I go to sleep with this thing on my mind. And when I wake up the next morning, somehow the problem is resolved. I've got it figured out overnight from sleeping. I guess my mind continues to work on it and the problem. And anyway, but we're making some progress with that. And then my fence is connected to my neighbor's fence, which when I put up my fence, my neighbor moved in and they put up their fence along the backside of their property. And then me and him, his name was David, we got together and put a fence down between our properties. And he since moved, and over his fences in the back is deteriorating. But he sold the property to a lady by the name of Margie. Margie is a great neighbor. I love her to death. She's she's single. She's on a very limited income, and I've helped her built part of her deck for free. I just did it for her and had to help build her back steps again because they were kind of like rotting away. Well, anyway, her back fence is deteriorating. So my neighbor behind me, this is a pretty good story now. My neighbor behind me came over and he says, we like the new fence you're putting up so well. Is Margie, he didn't know her name, but is the other neighbor, and I said, her name's Margie. She going to be able to redo her fence? And I said, no, unfortunately, she's on a very limited income and she just, there's no way she can afford to replace her fence. And he was like, oh man, this one looks so good. His property is actually long enough that part of her fence and part of my fence is on it, butts up against his property. So anyway, he says, oh man, he goes, my wife really likes the way this new fence is coming up and looking. So anyway, he went and talked to his wife. He came back to me and he said, me and my wife want to help her out. And he goes, we want to help pay for part of the fence for the back of her property. And I said, really? And he goes, yes. And I said, I'll tell you what, if you'll pay for half, I'll pay for half, and me and you'll put it up, and then we won't have to pay anybody. We'll just have to split the cost of the materials. And he goes, I can do that. And he goes, yeah, I'll help you put it up across the back of her property. So I said, okay. I said, well, let me go talk to her and confirm it with her that she don't have a problem with that. So I went over to Margie's house this afternoon. I said, hey, I got some news for you. And she goes, what? And I said, because she has dogs that she likes to let out to go use the bathroom. And I said, I'm putting up new fence across the back of my property. And she goes, yeah, I seen it out there. It looks good. And I said, well, I talked to the neighbor and he really wants to get that fence behind your house replaced. And she goes, well, Russ, there's just no way I can do it. And I said, I understand that. But he's going to pay for half and I'm going to pay for half, and me and him are going to put it up. We're going to replace that fence across the back part of your property. And you should have seen the tears swell up in her eyes and said, are you kidding me? And I said, no. I said, he said that he wants to help you. And I said, I told him that I'd split it with him. And I said, he's 3 or 4 years younger than me. He said that, yeah, he can do it. He's retired, but he can physically help me with the fence. And I said, so me and him's going to buy the materials and put it up. I said, do you have a problem with that? And she goes, oh my God, no. She goes, I just can't believe you're going to do that. And I said, yep, we're going to put up your fence. So you'll have a brand new fence in the back of your property. So it's only about, it's 100 foot long. So that would be what? Each piece is 80 foot. So that would be 10 pieces, give or take, or 11, 12 pieces, I think. 11, 12 pieces of fence plus the post. So So anyway, so we're gonna put up a fence across the back of her property too for free. She don't have to pay nothing. So
That's kind of neighbors I have. I love that.
yeah, the neighbors that I have around me are really, really great neighbors. Really, I couldn't be more blessed with the people that I have living around me. So yeah, I couldn't be more blessed. So, but she was just totally blown away that the fact that she was getting a new fence and we were going to do it and put it up for her. So yeah, it makes you feel good when you can help somebody out like that, and especially see the reaction that they have. You know, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yep. She has greyhound dogs. You know, the ones that race. And especially we have a greyhound. They have a place down here where they race dogs or whatever. They go through a miserable life, in all sincerity. And she is one of a person that recovers or helps save greyhound dogs. And she has 2 greyhounds and a little chihuahua. You talking about Mutt and Jeff? It's the funniest things. And you know, those greyhounds love the little chihuahua to death. And I didn't realize that greyhounds were that loving and caring of a pet. But when I go over to talk to her, I've got one will come to my left side and one will come to my right side, and they'll stick their nose up and they want to be petted. And she goes, "You wouldn't believe how gentle greyhounds really are." And I was like, no, I always kind of thought they were, you know, they race, but I never saw them as a gentle type of dog. But a greyhound is really a gentle dog. Gentle, nice dog. And then they got this little chihuahua that they play with. They're like 4 foot high. I mean, some of them come up past my waist. They're so high. And a little 10 or 12 inch off the ground chihuahua.
Wow.
Playing with them. Yeah. It's something to see. Do we have any questions or anything out there?
I don't see anything.
Don't see anything. Anybody got any questions out there?
Ask your questions, folks. Our panel of experts is here.
Do what?
I'm just saying our panel of experts is here.
Yeah. If you have a question, we got answers. If we don't, we'll lie.
What you need help with, let us know.
Lie.
We'll make up something.
Yeah, we'll make up something.
It'll seem like-
Hey, I've always said if you can't dazzle them with your brilliance, baffle them with your bullshit. So
Absolutely.
There you go.
Any new projects?
anybody else got anything they would like to discuss or talk about?
I have my Nano.
It's supposed to be shop talk. Y'all should come prepared. What is that, Dixon, that you got?
This is my Arduino Nano, and I have the MP3 player unit. This is the MP3 player unit. I'll back up so it focuses. And a little Nano unit. And I have the 2 LEDs. Now is all I have to do, and the buck boost transformer. From 12 volts, I can bring it down to 3 or 5.
And what are them for?
Them are gonna, I have to 3D print a miniature welder and a miniature HO scale man, and they're gonna sit by on my HO scale train set where they repair the trains, and it's gonna look like he's welding.
Cool.
Okay. That'd
So
be
when you
cool.
activate the Arduino board, it'll have a welder sound, and it'll have the LEDs will flash blue and red and white like he's welding, and the MP3 player will kick in, and them sounds will come off of that.
That is cool. That is cool.
You got storms over there, Dixon?
Oh yeah, it's not supposed to
I can see
be.
through your window.
It's not supposed to be dark right now. It's daytime, and it's coming down. We've been getting crazy. Rain every week. It's out of control right now. But some of the fields never got planted. But
JJ, you
once
want what scale is HO?
187th.
They're the smaller ones.
Yeah, the O scale. The O scale is real cool. I got an upper layer that is O scale, but HO scale, you can do a lot more operations and a lot more things. I should make a show out of it. If I had I should log on with my laptop. I could go down there and show you some of the parts.
Yeah, you have to do that sometime.
Isn't N scale smaller?
Yes, that scale is half the size of HO, and it's HO is small enough that you need small parts, but N scale is get the microscope out and a tweezer.
Yeah. Remember that from my hobby shop days.
And then they have one more called Z scale, and that's half the size of N scale, and that you can't
what
see.
Scale?
Pardon?
It's called what scale?
I have the HO. There's O scale. I have that on my top deck, and then there's HO that I have on my bottom deck, and then there's underneath that is N scale, and then Z.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
now
so
why
small.
didn't they go to?
HO scale is 1 to 87,
Yep.
which means that if a 40-foot box car, the actual size would be 6 inches long. And N scale is 1 to 160, which is what, twice that? Like you said, half as small.
This here, I have a scale thing right here, and
Well, there's what
scale.
you're
I
talking
have
about
an
rain. This is what it looks like around my house.
HO scale. It's 187.
I'm like right in the middle of this blue, yellow crap right in here. So
All right.
We got hit pretty heavy yesterday.
yeah.
See you, everybody.
Lynn,
All right. See you,
Brandon.
Paul.
Talk to you later, man.
Hey, there is a question out there.
Yeah, Lynn's Handcrafted has a question for the wood turners. What is the difference between HSS and M2 cryo turning tools?
HSS is high speed steel.
Yeah. I've never
And
heard of
hold
them,
on.
too.
And Lynn Handcraft wood tools. Let me see.
The
See if I can
cryo,
go back and see.
Wait.
What?
there's a customer I go and see every once in a while now. It used to be one of my main ones. But they make vegetable slicing machines. And they will cryo treat their cutting blades and stuff because it makes them even harder than just quenching them out of a heat. So they'll make those knife edges with them, and even doing that, like the guy was telling me, the potato chip machines that they make, you got to change the knife blade assemblies every like 3 or 4 hours because the potatoes are just so abrasive that they just screw it all up. And
Okay.
the is high-speed steel, so it's like
So going back to Lynn's, HSS stands for high speed steel. In other words, the steel is designed in the tool for high speed turning and shouldn't heat up and distort as bad, or it's more. I'm not going to say it's carbon steel or what. I'm not quite sure, but I just know that HSS turning tools work better at high speeds, and they don't when they get hot, they don't distort and lose their shape or lose their sharpness. They hold the sharpness real good as a high-speed turning tool. Now, I'm looking at Hurricane M2 Cryo 8-piece advanced proof. It says that they are still a traditional HSS tool. So only thing that I can tell you is just a different brand of HSS tool.
they freeze it.
Yeah, because it says a turning tool set, traditional HSS tool, bundle tool set, so it's just a different type of HSS tool.
Yeah.
Maybe their little spin on, they're doing a little something different with the steel to make it a little better or last a little longer.
Yeah, the cryoprocessing prior to tempering the steel shifts the tempering hardness curve to lower temperatures when using secondary hardening range. That's
Okay, there you go.
hardness versus the master tempering parameter. The lower the tempering temperature is required to achieve the same hardness level with secondary hardening, using the same tempering temperature as without a sub-zero treatment will lead to greater degree of tempering. Yeah, I read that off of the Googles.
Well, I looked up the Hurricane Micro 2, and it just says turning tool set, traditional HSS tools. So, I don't really, from that, it doesn't tell me there's a lot of difference. But what you just read, because I know when you're tempering steel, for instance, if you want to make it hardened steel, you will heat it and put it into shape, and then you will actually put it in oil, like motor oil.
Yeah.
And that heating and dunking, heating and cooling, and the motor oil causes the steel to become hardened, a lot harder than normal steel. So I guess they have a little twist on it with the Read that one more time, Al.
Well, here I found another one. Cryogenic processing shifts the hardness tempering curve to lower temperatures. Effectively, the steel has been tempered to a greater degree by using cryogenic processing. However, when the liquid nitrogen process was effective in also increasing the hardness or maintaining it at a similar level, this will lead to a small improvement in toughness.
Okay.
Because you're opening up that window. You're going
Yeah.
from hotter to colder.
Yeah,
And if they
hotter to
use-
colder.
Dry ice, if you use that, it'll get that much stronger.
Well, you see, that's basically what the oil does to it, but the oil has a different effect on the hardening steel than water. In other words, if you take, for instance, when I used to, when you sharpen your lawnmower blades, you're supposed to make a pass and then stick it in water to cool it off. You don't want the steel to get too cool or too hot too fast, because it will lower its lower its strength, its hardening capability. So you make a pass of sharpening the lawnmower blade, and then you stick it in water to cool it off. You make a pass and stick it in water. You don't want it to get to the red hot. Therefore, you're weakening the hardness of the blade on a lawnmower blade. So what it sounds like to me is they're coming up with a different method with this cryogenic process of using cool, like nitrogen or whatever, to cool the metal between passes so that it won't lose its hardening capabilities.
The webpage that post, it actually has little charts and stuff. Makes it look really good. You can even do it with dry ice also.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah.
You're opening up that window wider from heat to cold.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason they use oil is if you're making a knife or a sword, so that you don't get hairline cracks.
Yes, it helps with the cracking. Yes, it helps keep the oil, even though it will suck the heat out of the metal. You're right. It will help keep it from cracking and make it harder.
You bet, Len. Good question.
Yeah, that was. It's the first time I've ever heard of that process either.
Yeah,
but
oil was the only thing I've ever heard of, and water,
But if you go to, I will use this page here. I
wonder how you do it in dry ice. I wonder if you crumble the dry ice or just take the hot piece out.
Good question.
Yeah.
This is the page that I was seeing about the tools. And if you go on there and read, you'll see what I'm saying. It said it's just a high-speed steel, traditional high-speed steel tool. Interesting. Never heard of it.
Yeah, you're right.
That's a new one for me.
We use dry ice. We have a freezer for our dyes, and we have to use dry ice. We put some in with the freezer and then we set the dye in there to expand the steel, so it cuts the labels better.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Are the square dies that you put over a stack of paper?
So big round dyes that go high speed, they turn high speed. There's lines going through the center, and we run coolant through there at -21, and the dye it cools down so fast, and we set it in the freezer, and then some dry ice is in there to get it colder. Then we pull it out, install it in the machine, and they can run it for maybe 6-7 hours before the frost comes off the dye. Even though there's a -21 coolant going through the center, that's what keeps it cold long enough. And then they have to, it's because we use.
So it don't overheat, basically. Yeah, you're trying to keep it cold so it don't overheat.
Them dyes are laser cut, and they have a groove like on your label on lunch meat, and it expands that just so it cuts through the first liner and not the paper on the bottom. Just like a vinyl cutter, but it's spinning so fast, cutting thousands of
pretty cool
labels on the type as the web goes through.
And I think Jim was putting this out here. He put it in the inner. I'm going to put it on the outer chat, Jim. The link that you sent.
Okay.
What was that about? I forget. I'm sorry.
I had to make some YouTube videos for work.
Okay.
And that video has somewhere in it those vegetable slicing machines where they freeze the blades to.
Okay, very good.
And stuff like that in it. So
cool, right?
I wanted to look at the machines that are on that YouTube video.
Who has had a potato chip, shredded cheese, diced vegetables, or meat? Peanut butter, medicine? Sorry.
That's it.
Yep. Did you make that video, Jim, or did somebody else?
Yeah, I made it for work.
That looked really good. What little I saw.
We have to make the stuff up, and then we give it to a gal in the marketing department, and she makes sure we don't say stuff we're not supposed to.
Right. Like pepper is. Never mind.
Yeah. Puts the front and the back end on them and all that kind of stuff. I made one where we've got these sensor cables that you can use on welding machines because the weld slide won't stick to them and melt their way into the cable. Mm-hmm. So we took some of these cables and we dunked them in 1900 degree molten brass. I held them there for a few seconds and pulled them out.
Wow.
I lost $20 on that. I told the guy I didn't think they were going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's your $20. I'm like, okay. And sure enough, man, they held up. We sell tons of them now. And that's a YouTube video. What else did I make the YouTube video on?
Any more questions? See, we have a wealth of information available to us on Google, so we just look it up and tell you what Google says.
See.
No, I mean, I've heard of a high-speed steel because you can get drill bits that are a high-speed steel, and then you can get hardened drill bits for harder metal to cut through naturally. But high-speed steel is actually the cheaper of the cheaper than hardened, but it will cut through most steel that we deal with on a daily basis. High-speed drill bits will cut through it, but occasionally you run into hardened steel, which I ran into some the other day on my dump trailer when I was trying to bore through it. The first two bits, it dulled them like that quick, and I'm like, there's no way that this can be high-speed steel or hardened steel. So I went and got another drill bit that I knew was made for hardened steel and come back. And sure enough, the reason I broke or dulled the first two drill bits is because the piece I was trying to drill through was hardened steel.
It was hardened. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And I'm like, wow. But it was a piece near the plate where the ram cylinder that lifts the bed is at. So then it made logical sense, you dumb butt. Of course, that area around the cylinder that lifts the bed, that thing will lift 12,000 pounds, is going to be hardened steel so it don't shatter when you're trying to lift 12,000 pounds. So.
There.
I just watched it.
Wasn't trying to take credit for your video.
But yeah.
Because the comment you put in the inside chat was linked to a video I made for work. I just wanted to put the two together.
Hey,
Come on,
Al,
bro. 2 thumbs up.
cool.
Russ can use more thumbs.
Hit that thumbs up, boys and girls.
Yeah, I got to look at my the pump on my dump trailer is I think the tank, the hydraulic oil holding tank, has a crack in it because I had filled it up because it was a little low, and I noticed, and I put cat litter down in the bottom of the bin and dried it all up and sucked it all out with my vacuum cleaner. And then because there was some oil down there, and I'm trying to determine where the oil is coming from. So I put a little bit more oil in the tank and it's leaking again. So I think I don't know, whatever plastic, polyester, polypropylene, probably poly something lean plastic tank has a crack in it and it's leaking. So I got to take the tank off and see if it's got a leak or whatever on the hydraulic pump. Yeah, but a very nice dump trailer. It's 7 foot. The bed's 7 foot by it's not 7 foot by 12 foot, 7 foot by 12 or 13 foot. It's got 5 foot sides on it. It'll carry 12,000 or no 20,000 pounds. So, but it's weird that the lift cylinder is only good for 12,000, and I'm thinking like, how can it carry 12? But it don't have to lift the whole load when it's shifting, because by the time you start lifting up, apparently it slides out. So therefore, they calculate that it only has to lift 12,000 pounds. So I don't know how that works. I'm not an engineer. I just know that it dumps. Michelle Marcoux said, "I'm the second one of the thumbs up." Yeah, I appreciate thumbs up. I appreciate you guys. I mean, we want to try to answer your questions if you have a problem. And I mean, there's people here that have laser experience, 3D printer experience, lathe experience, scroll saw experience. I mean, we have. And now we're adding embroidery and sewing experience with Donna and her sister being on the show. So we have some mechanical, electrical experience with Al and Jim. So we have a broad range of experience on here.
Hey, don't forget about automotive now. Come on. It only took me 10 years to get my truck running, okay?
Yeah. Yeah, Dixon, he's got a wealth of information about anything, even 3D modeling for railroad experience. So, yeah.
I can't talk about my experience.
You got a lot of woodworking experience.
Hey, most of that was not proven in court.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and say whatever you want.
That's right.
No, you got a wealth of experience, Donald, between your woodworking, and you do some great, great woodworking and also some good lathe. And I think your setback is I would love to see you in a shop with all like brand new tools and see what you could do, because you're dealing with hand tools and stuff, and you make some of the really great, wonderful stuff. I'd love to see you turn loose in a shop with brand new, brand new lathe, brand new everything, and see what you could do.
Well, a lot of it too is I'm limited with time, and there's only so much you can do with it. I mean,
well, I understand that too, but you still, some of the stuff you do by hand. Let's put it this way: some of the stuff you do by hand, I wouldn't even attempt to tackle with hand.
Yeah, same here.
I ain't got the patience.
Yep, exactly.
I ain't got the patience, my friend. I mean, I see some of the work you do. I see some of the dovetails that you've cut by hand and some of the other stuff, and I'm going like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. I ain't gonna do that.
I dovetails. I just got stuck on it. I would assume we all get that one thing that you just can't quite get right.
Yeah. Well, that was me with the scroll saw. I mean, I regret that I haven't played around with my scroll saw as much as I used to, because it used to be one of my favorite hobbies. But that was me with the scroll saw. Once I learned it and once I got good at it, I just scroll every day. It's like.
Then I got halfway decent with them. I figured out how to contend with my gaps and all that. Now I go on YouTube, and I think it was chopping. One of the videos, the guy did an inlay dovetail where it was actually two different types of wood, and he cut a strip between the dovetail. And I just wanted to go burn my chisels.
Yeah. 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 And then I got up to piddling around with embroidery and stuff. And because the doctor, I was having so many problems with my sinuses that he told me, he said, you need to lay away from sawdust for a while until we can get some things corrected. And, so I quit scrolling. That's the reason I got into embroidery and 3D printing, to keep from going stupid without being able to do anything and broaden my horizons. And I got into embroidery, and then I see Donna doing some of her stuff, and I'm like, well, crap, I thought I was good.
You can do all that stuff too. Get a bigger machine.
Yeah, I just got to get a bigger, better machine. But I tell you, my little niche, I love embroidering. Don't get me wrong, I'll play around with it. I was messing with it the other day, but I really started to get into the niche of 3D printing. I really enjoy 3D printing.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I always tell everybody, I say, no matter what hobby you want to try several.
Yes.
But do it cheaply to start. And if you
Yes.
and you start to this a lot, then get better. Get better machines, but don't start out with a high dollar machine until you know you're gonna.
No matter what you do it just for fun.
Yeah, I started out between Jim and I know Dixon helped me start out with it, and I think Jim did too a little bit because he was getting into it. But Jim and them, Dixon told me to get a Ender 3. He said, don't spend a lot of money to get an Ender 3 and start playing around with it and learn it. If you can learn an Ender 3 and learn how to make stuff on an Ender 3, they are great little machines. They're inexpensive and they do a great job. And so I bought an Ender 3 and I learned the ins and out of it. Dixon helped me. I know Dixon was the predominant one, but I think Jim and even Al kicked in a little bit with the Ender 3. But then I got it so fine-tuned. And I've shown this before, but right now I use it to predominantly make these little 3D sharks that I give away and to the little kid. I do security the first of every month in our church. They put me because of my walking capabilities and my back. They put me in there with the kids to guard the children's church and children's church and Sunday school. And so I make these little sharks. I make pink ones for the girls and red ones for the boys. And my little ender still create. And these things, I want to tell you, I mean, I don't know how good you can see but look how smooth, how the layers are on that. I mean, that for a little Ender 3, those layers are just awesome. Yeah. So they are. They're awesome. And my son wanted me. He said, "Hey, let me use that little one over there because you're not using it so much anymore." And I don't want to give a little Ender 3. I know it's slow, but I can put 2 or 3 of these on there. It'll print them in like 2 hours. 2 hours.
Print and forget.
And I just turn it off, forget about it. And I come back and they're done. You know.
And by the way, Jim got us going on this stuff here.
Jim. Jim. I've still got my.
Brenda had some in pink. You've got some.
Jim made me my first one. What color was the one you sent me, Jim? Was it red?
I even made one that glows in the dark.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, I've got several of them up here. I know one of these that's all right. See, these are. There's 1, 2, 3. There's a bigger one, 4. I think Jim sent me one that's red, and I got it in my office, to be honest with you. But then when I said, "All right, how are you doing these, Jim?" Right. And so ended up he sent me the STL, and I put it in the slicer, and I started printing them myself. So and the Ender printed these first 3. The Ender printed. It wasn't until I went a little bit bigger like this one, and then I come up with a full-blown octopus head like this that I changed over and did it on one of my other printers. But yeah, the little Ender 3, and people ask a lot of times, they say, "Well, I have so many problems." You don't understand how to get the machine set up. Otherwise, if you did, it would print great. You've got to fine tune that machine. You got to get the bed level. You got to get the height level. You got to get there's so many printers. But I will tell you this much. If you ever learn to use an Ender 3 and use it correctly as a 3D printer, it will take you above and beyond the other printers. You will now be able to use other printers. So, and
especially when you understand what's happening and how it's doing it, and
yes.
I'm just waiting to see one of you do some off-axis printing.
Yeah.
If you want to try 3D printing, there's nothing you can't build.
Yes. Dixon is one of the main persons that helped me with my Ender and get me set up on 3D printing. Yeah, he is one of the main ones. But the little Ender 3 is the little engine that could. You can do it faster on other printers, but I got news for you. The quality is not much better than the Ender 3. That little sucker is just great.
Yeah, if you get it tuned in really well,
it will do it. It will do it. And so anyway, my son said, like, "I thought you were. I want to get that. You don't use it that much anymore." And I said, "I don't know. It's hard to give up your first 3D printer. You know, I just got an attachment to it for some reason."
Give him the little FL Sun.
The QQS, the QQS FL Sun. Yeah, I have I actually would rather give him the QQS than the Ender 3. Yeah, I'd rather give him that. So, all right, guys, I think we're right around 9 o'clock.
Yep, I believe you're right. I'm getting hungry. Ooh.
Yep. So we're gonna cut it out here. If you have any more questions, you better get them in quick. What did Dan say? Sorry to hear that. Dan, I used to never wear a mask. Now I'm on oxygen 24 hours 7. My expert. That's my expert contribution. Sorry to hear that, Dan. Yeah, I didn't know you were on oxygen all the time. Now I know you were having problems with your breathing and stuff, but I didn't know you were on oxygen all the time.
Yeah.
We just found out that my daughter's husband, his mother, so I don't know, not my mother-in-law, obviously, because she's not my mother-in-law, but our daughter's husband, Justin, his mother has cirrhosis of the liver, and it's not from drinking. She hasn't drank it in her life. And now they're saying it's getting to the point she's going to have a liver transplant. So, yeah, she has severely damaged liver. And so, and I say that because most people think that cirrhosis of the liver comes from alcohol abuse, but hers did not. Hers did not. And it don't have to. It's just alcohol is the most common problem of cirrhosis of the liver, but hers did not. So, yeah. So if you're a praying people, I would ask you to say a little pray for her. But sorry to hear that, Dan, that you're having to be on oxygen all the time. All right, guys. I guess Donna signed out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, our
All right.
grandkids are there.
Sounds good. I'm
Okay.
gonna go get me
All right.
something to eat.
Yep. Listen, if you're too darn busy, you get out in your shop and make some sawdust. You're just too darn busy, or you're too lazy, get off your butt, get off the couch, get out in your shop and make some sawdust.
Or you're
It's
working
104 degrees.
Oh, yeah. It's 104 degrees in your shop and you can't get out here to
130
work.
degrees.
Yeah. So, yeah.
That's why I'm inside tonight.
If it's hot and you can't get out there, I'll give you this much. I'll give you credit for that. Then I won't call you lazy. Just get in the pool and go swimming. How about that?
Taken care of.
Yeah, taken care of. All right. Just give me sawdust. Lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching, and God bless.
Good night,
Live
boys
long
and
and
girls.
prosper.
And remember, you don't have to go home, but you cannot stay here.
And
Nope.
what
We're
he
not
said.
gonna be here.
Yeah, see you. Get out of here. See you next week. Same
Yeah.
bat time, same bat channel.